All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I wanted to quickly give my 2 cents on the newest rumor involving, of course, the Jets and the Packers here, revolving around a potential Aaron Rodgers trade. Now, according to Charles Robinson, I believe of Yahoo Sports, he's reporting that the New York Jets, but specifically Woody Johnson, is scared to give up an unprotected first-round pick next season. In other words, not putting any sort of conditions on a future pick regarding, overall success with the team or how long Rodgers decides to play with the Jets. It would just be a straight first round pick, no matter what happens. And real quick before, I kind of give my opinion on it, we've reached another section of the offseason with these Rodgers rumors where everybody's just conflicting one another. I literally remember Brian Gutekunst, Packers GM, acknowledging the fact that it would not take, this trade is not solely reliant on a first round pick, a future first round pick. He acknowledged that. And this was last week of March, first week of April, somewhere in that range, March 30th, March 31st, somewhere that actually happened. We had Adam Schefter come out a couple days ago saying that the Jets and the Packers haven't communicated. Both sides are dug in with what they want. We had Mike Greenberg come out the other day and say that he's hearing that, apparently Rodgers is sending signals to the New York Jets organization, basically along the lines of, don't trade for me right now. Don't feel the need or the pressure to get me in for the start of the offseason program, which begins April 17th. I'm not going to that anyway. So don't cave to Green Bay, essentially. So again, we've heard so many conflicting things. Really, my stance on this is this. Joe Douglas and the Jets want what they want. They want Aaron Rodgers, right? They've passed on numerous free agent quarterbacks. They're passing on the opportunity to potentially acquire Lamar Jackson in a trade. They want Rodgers. And we also know that the Packers and Brian Gutekunst want to move off of A-Rod. They want to start fresh on the Jordan Love era, really get that train going and really start building for the future here. And both sides make a lot of sense, right? The Jets really, really need a quarterback. Green Bay has essentially two quarterbacks, one that they feel really, really good about, and he's on his rookie deal in Love. Let's part ways with Rodgers and, close the book on him. We know that the two teams have been talking since the Senior Bowl. There's been reports going back to around the Super Bowl that the Jets are 100% bottom with Rodgers, but right around the time of the Senior Bowl, which is in February, that's when the two teams, as far as the public knowledge is concerned, that's when the two teams started. So this has been an ongoing discussion for months. When we're talking about a trade of this isn't just a waiver claim or anything like that. When we're talking about a potential trade involving Aaron Rodgers, you have to be sure on what you're doing from both sides. This is the type of move that will get the entire Jets staff fired if it does not work out. So of course you want to get a good deal here. It's just common sense. Now there's no hard deadline for this to happen. It's not like the franchise tag situation where it was I believe it was March 14th at a specific time. It's no, this has to be done by this time. We're not in a position like that. Rodgers can be traded at any time. The Jets don't seem like they're in any rush to get him. We talked about before, it doesn't seem like Rodgers is going to be participating early in the offseason training program. So it is what it is. There's, with no countdown, with no timer, with no deadline that you have to have him traded by, there isn't really the sense of urgency. Now, there is the soft deadline, which is the NFL draft. And that's kind of going to be the first, in my eyes, the first pivoting point in this entire thing. That's when things could start to heat up. Personally, that's when I feel like Rodgers will be dealt. 2 days before the draft, a day before the draft, maybe on draft night. But, I really think that's when it's going to get done. But up until that point, what's today? April 14th. We're just under 2 weeks away from the start of the NFL draft, meaning there's no reason why talk should really intensify and heat up today, tomorrow. But on the flip side, there's no reason why talk should break down either. And I think everything up to that point is just negotiating. It's negotiations between the Jets and the Packers, seeing who's going to cave first, playing the chess match, playing the game, if you will. There's no reason to cave if you're Douglas. There's no reason to cave if you're Gutekunst. Just stand your ground. You still got, 2 weeks here. Maybe the other, GM does. And that's kind of all you can hope for, and try to make progress and try to figure out what you're okay with, otherwise, or if the other team decides to throw you a curveball. But let's just look at this new rumor at face value and just look at it just kind of in a vacuum here. Woody Johnson and the Jets being scared to trade away a first round pick with no strings attached in in 2024 here. I got to be honest, I'm with Woody. That's just my take. When I look at if Rodgers was 32, if Rodgers was 33, okay, then it's like, yeah, you know what? Let's dish it out. But not if he's 39 and he was 10% committed on playing this season. Leaves the darkness retreat and is like, oh, you know what? I'm getting word that Green Bay wants to move off of me. I don't really like how they've handled some of the exits from, his favorite teammates, guys that, in his words, were some of the core players of the team. He wants to move on now because he gets the sense that Green Bay wants to move on. But the fact remains the same. If he was leaning 90% to retirement a month or two ago, what are the chances he's going to be leaning to retirement a year from now? Pretty high. I would say pretty high. And best case scenario, he plays this season, he plays in 2024. That's going to probably be it, right? When he's 41, 42. So he turns 40 in December. So, if you are Joe Douglas and the Jets, again, specifically Woody Johnson, I think I'm dishing out a fair deal involving a second round pick this year, a conditional pick in 2024. Now, the parameters of that are up in the air, right? Of course, Green Bay's going to want what they're going to try to maximize the compensation as best as they can, and rightfully so. That's the GM's job. For me, it's a second round pick this year. You can take your pick, 42, 43, it doesn't matter. And keep in mind, Green Bay has the 15th pick. They have the, 40, I think, pick 45 overall. They're sitting in a really, 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 really good spot. They can go out and add that extra second round pick and draft a starter there. I mean, there's a lot of needs on this Packer team. You can get a legitimate starter that you can build your team around. You could go select a core piece there. I mean, 3 picks in the top 50 is sweet. So you're getting a second round pick this year. You're getting a conditional third round pick next year that bumps to a second if Rodgers plays more than one season. I think that's fair from the Jets' perspective. I mean, you don't want to be trading away a treasure trove of picks for somebody who's only going to potentially be playing, the 17 games. It's just a little dicey. I don't mind Woody Johnson saying, hey, you know what? Again, assuming that this is true here, I don't mind Woody saying, an unprotected first along with something this year. It's a little, that's a pretty big price tag. And then going along with this offer here, potentially a player. If this is a player that the Jets view as maybe a guy who the team wants to move off of, maybe it's at a position that they're already really, really stacked at, and maybe he makes sense for Green Bay. So now all of a sudden Green Bay's adding a player to their roster, getting better, striding love with more talent, and the Jets are dumping money at a position that they already feel really good about, because at the end of the day, the Jets have to still make more moves. We don't have a center on the roster. Ideally, I would like to add another safety to the room, weak side linebacker, defensive tackle, another offensive tackle, in my opinion, I think should be added to the mix, which ideally would be added with that 13th overall pick. But at the end of the day, I think for me, that's fair. Jets get Rodgers. Green Bay gets 2 picks and potentially a player. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.